Hello and welcome to our next lecture about how we will extract data and perform a typical ETL process by saving the data into a storage. In our case, we use our local storage to save it. Now to do this, I will need an API. I have went into the public APIs repository in GitHub. How to get there? In Google, you write public APIs and it should be the first link that pops up. Here you'll find a collection of different APIs with different topics. For this tutorial, for this lecture, I chose the one under the jobs section, and it's called Airbite It Now, Airbite Now, something like this. So when you click on this, you head into the documentation. In this case, you see it's a Postman documentation. So it just currently contains one endpoint, which is the GET request to this endpoint. And what we need to do is we will need to test first into Postman to make sure that it works fine. So I'm clicking on the plus sign. I can name this maybe to something else, but I will leave it like untitled for now. So it's an HTTP request like the previous one that we have currently worked on, and you can see here that I've tested before. But first I just click on the copy, so just one endpoint, I paste it and I click send. So from here you can see that I have received a JSON that has some fields in it, so in slug. So what is the slug? I don't really understand. It's maybe something like a identifier for that post of a job. Then we have the company name, the title of it. We have some description. We have another job, which again is another company. These are not in English, so it's okay for our purpose here. Let's see if we find something in English, but I don't think so. All right. So as this works now, we need to extract this and we need to build a process to save it locally. How we should do this? First, we need to open a Python environment, either PyCharm, or what I will do now, I'll go with Jupyter. So the fastest way to go into Jupyter is to go into the CMD, into the folder that you're going to save your stuff in. Then first you need to do pip install notebook, but if you already passed the previous lecture on Jupyter, you should have it. So after running pip install notebook, we're going with Jupyter notebook. Alternatively, you could have Anaconda. That's also fine. It's entirely up to you. I prefer to use Jupyter without Anaconda on it. All right, so we have opened our folder here. I'm going to create a new script, Python 3 kernel. I'm going to name it ETL because I'm going to do the transformation prior to load, let's say. And you can see that I have already created the notebook over here. Next up, I'm going to import pandas as PD. And I'm going to run this. Now, as we already have tested our API endpoint, we can go into the code here in the code snippet. I can directly click on copy snippet and I can go into my Python environment and I can paste it. Now I'm going to cut this and put it into the cell with the imports so that it's structured. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to run both cells again with Shift and Enter. And you can see that I have got exactly the same output like expected. The one difference that I'm going to make is I'm not going to print response.text. I'm going to make this like a data equals response.json. So what this makes is this puts our data or response into JSON object, or in Python terms, it is dictionary. You can see it over here. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to try to put this into a data frame. So I'm going to start with the basic approach, data frame, and I'm going to put our data in it. So we have some difficulties doing this directly, and that's entirely okay. But maybe this is also because we have this data in it. So if I go and put data like this, I'm just going to get the data component out of the response, and this is exactly what I did in this case. So now we have our data frame with slang, component name, title, exactly what we need at this point. We can do some pre-processing on this. What we could do, we could job types, and we have tags. So I'm going to put this as a df. So now I saved this object. Let's see tags. What is tags? So I'm going to go into tags. It's object. Let's see if I put 0 on it, what I'll have. I'll have a list of topics, maybe. This is currently engineering, directors, chef, executives. Now this, I don't want to keep it as a list when I save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpack this. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to make a data frame series apply. Then I'm going to create a lambda inside it. So lambda x, right? This is like a function that I create on the spot. And for each of these, I want to make it as a string. So I'm going to go with this dot join x, and you can see how it actually looks like. So I like this one, and I'm going to rebuild it here. So now our frame looks, our tags looks a bit better. I think we have the same case for job types. So I could literally just duplicate this this row, but as I already did, I need to do it on the second cell. I can merge them afterwards. So I'm going with job types here and here. And I will run that now. So let's see what we have. So we should have it now better. Okay, let's see something else it can be done. Here are some HTML tags we might want to get rid of, but I'm going to leave them at the moment, as I'm not really interested in that right now. Okay, so we have also the location here that explains why it's in German, but that's fine. So created that, we have it as a number. So what we should see here, we also have created this as a number. Let's look at this column a bit more. So PD created it. All right, let's try to make it as a datetime to see the default PD.to datetime. Let's see if it will understand it, and it does not do it. So next up, I assume that this might be a Unix time. So let's see. Let's see Unix timestamp to date. So let's try with this one and see what we're going to get convert. So this looks exactly what I need. Today is September 6, 2023, the moment of recording this video. So that's great. Now we need to do it for Python. Currently, I cannot remember the syntax. So what I will do is I will write Python convert Unix timestamp to datetime. And I'm going to look, of course, into Stack Overflow. So we have datetime, Unix from datetime, whatever. This looks like it. So I'm going to copy this one, this module. I will use directly copy pasting like this, and I will do this function over here. I'm not going to convert into string. I want to keep it as datetime. So if I do dot apply similarly to the above logic, so I want it to be applied. I can actually do here, I can do this without using lambda. I can just provide this function like this, and you can see that it has already converted this. If you have already, if you already have a specified function, all you need to do is you need just to put it here without calling it as an object. All right, so using this again, I'm going to override this. Very simple process. Again df, and we're again here. So I think we're ready for this to be extracted, to be loaded. So I'm going to save it as an Excel file for the purpose of this analysis, for this lecture. So I'm going to write I click tab, and you can see that we have different type of objects that we can save to, and I'm going to go with not to CSV but to Excel. And here I need to write the name of the file, so I'm going to go with jobs.xlsx. XLSX is like the extension of Excel. You can go with XLS, I believe was the other one that is the earliest version of Excel, but I'm going to keep with the X at the end, as most likely you also have this as XLSX. All right, so when I open our project, I see that I have extracted the data successfully, and you can see that we have it here, and we have the slug. Again, we can provide this to our owners. We can save it into blob storage or somewhere, but this is, for example, what we are currently looking for. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one.